love to have you join us here. Thank you for coming. And please proceed, Congresswoman Lois Frankel.
Okay, well, hello, everybody. Hope everybody is well. Okay, you can shake your head if you're doing good. So it's a pleasure, always a pleasure to be with you all, and I want to thank you all for the work that you do for our community. Well, COVID. You've asked me to talk about COVID. I mean, it's, I know most people, you wake up every day and you're thinking, is this nightmare going to be over? Because it's a worldwide nightmare, and it has not been a great relief to hear the words of the president concerning that we heard in the Woodward tapes, where he knew it was a really bad virus, worse than the flu, airborne, and he wasn't going to put us in a panic. And of course, what we've had is a panic, obviously. So what do we have to do? I'll put the politics aside and just say this is what needs to be done, because I think here's what we can all agree on. We want to get people back to work. We want or get children back to school, and the rest of us, we all want to just get back to normal lives. But I'm going to emphasize one word, and that is safely. We want to do it safely. And we know that the prospect of a vaccine, which is a good one, quite frankly, from what I have heard, it's not going to be widely available for many, many, many months, maybe not until the end of next year, even in terms of being widely available. So what we have to do is, where they say, learn to live with it safely. And obviously it means following some basic rules and having the leadership that encourage us to do that. So here's where we are in the House. We passed over 100 days ago a bill we called the Heroes Bill to address the most urgent concerns of this pandemic. Number one, the health concerns, making sure that we have enough tests, protective gear, and resources to do the contact tracing necessary to get this virus in a box. That's number one. Number two, we still have millions of Americans who are unemployed through no fault of their own. Businesses that have gone through just down the tubes through no fault of the business owners. And I can tell you, I know Felicia can tell you, I think, Felicia, are you still there someplace?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, as I sip my tea, since March, we have gotten hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calls from people who are unemployed and suffering. And as you probably know, there was a big delay here in Florida getting out unemployment checks. For most of the unemployed, they are getting their checks now, even though it's behind, but still many thousands have been lost in the system. So getting money back into pockets is very, very important to keep our economy going. And that means direct stimulus checks to people who are at a certain income level. I think it was up to $75,000, under $75,000 last go around. That's what we're hoping for this time. Extended unemployment, at least till the end of the year. More money for the small businesses to keep them now. Hopefully some of them are open and keep them open. Also, probably the most serious financial issue facing this country right now is the budget gaps in the state and local governments. That is probably also the biggest conflict in Congress between Democrats and Republicans in terms of whether to fill those gaps. And let me tell you something, this is serious. You can pick up the phone and just call any of your mayors, except for maybe Palm Beach, because they told me they're in the money, but which is good for them. But all over this country, what we see are major gaps in state and local governments' budgets because they haven't been getting the tax revenue or the business revenues that they normally get. So what does that mean? That means the prospect of literally millions of more people being laid off and a diminution of services, so whether it's garbage pickup or even first responders. So it's a serious issue. The Democrats in the House, we did pass a HEROES bill to send money back to the state and local governments, and we're still pushing hard for that. And there's other kind of economic relief. We are about to see a biggest wave of people losing homes again, unable to pay their rent and becoming homeless. And so our HEROES bill contained money to help people pay their rent or pay their mortgage. And here's the thing, it's not good enough for the governor or the president to just suspend evictions, because what does that do? It transfers the burden to landlords, many of them who are small business people. So we don't want to be transferring burden. We want money in people's pockets until they can, earn a living, so that we can keep the economy going. So lots of economic relief, student loan relief, also healthcare, testing, and state and local government. Those are the primary issues that we are trying to take care of in Congress. Now, we do have a stalemate. It's very unfortunate because we have had 4 bipartisan pieces of legislation, which is good for this country. But right now, we have the House. We've passed a full, robust bill. We've offered to cut the amount of money needed in half by, instead of funding for a year, funding for a half a year. Mitch McConnell, who just has stubbornly put everything we have sent over to him, from expanding background checks to improving affordable care, all that, sits on his desk. The Senate has proposed a bill which is not adequate at all. And our leaders continue to try to negotiate a settlement there. So that's the news from Washington.